Leaving a child in daycare is no easy decision, and a mother is outraged after a severe sunburn left two of her sons hospitalized. She says the daycare kept them outside for much of the day without sunscreen because they say they ran out. These pictures are hard to look at. Blisters forming on the shoulders of the boy, causing excruciating pain. The Happiness Learning Center daycare has since closed its doors. We reached out to the daycare and have not gotten any response. So who is at fault here? Let's bring in our legal panel to debate. Whitney Bone is a family law criminal defense attorney, and Jay Apt is also a criminal defense attorney. Thank you both for joining us today. Obviously, a very hot topic. Whitney, I want to start with you. Does the daycare bear any responsibility here? Should there be charges?
No, there should not. And here's why. Because, I mean, as tragic as this is, and I am in no way, shape, or form going to minimize the tragedy of this and the pain that these boys and their mother are suffering because of this, we've got to take the emotion out of this. We've got to be rational when we're talking about liability. And the bottom line is that clearly these are two very unique boys. I've heard no other reports of any other kids from this daycare being sunburned, even at all, but much less to such a degree. So there's two important questions here. Did the mother knew that they had such extreme sensitivity to the sun? And if she did she tell the daycare? If she didn't, they're not liable. They're not liable criminally, and they're not liable civilly.
All right, Jay, I want to get your reaction because we heard Whitney say you need to take the emotion out of it. Any mother can attest that's very hard to do, but I understand if there are charges being brought, whether it be criminal or civil, it does need to be taken out. But is there liability here?
Absolutely. Listen, I've represented a lot of daycare owners and daycare centers in both criminal and civil cases. Juries hate people that hurt children, and they will find that there's a duty of care that the daycare center should have had to have provided sunscreen, which they didn't provide for these kids. And they're going to find that a jury could easily find that the daycare center was negligent in not providing them sunscreen and find civil liability. Also, daycare centers are highly regulated by state governments, and the regulations and agencies that govern these bodies and these daycare centers, they could pull their licensing. There could be criminal investigation for child neglect and child endangerment, and in addition to all of the civil liability. So this is going to be a case where a good civil lawyer will bring in action, and if the daycare center had insurance, there's going to be a big payday for the parents, and there should be, because the daycare center dropped the ball.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree.
Whitney, I want to bring you in, but I will say that the daycare has logged a number of infractions. It says here 19 times for not being in compliance. Not minor, but when it comes to your son or daughter, just about nothing is minor for any parent out there. So I want to get your reaction to not only the number of infractions this daycare. Does this make them perhaps really? There's a more possibility that we will see charges because of the number of infractions.
Let's keep it straight, okay? Daycare should be liable in as much as they know what to look out for, okay? They cannot be liable for acts of God, all right? And if they didn't know that these children were that sensitive to the sun, then they're not liable. They asked the children to keep their shirts on. They went out of their way to have the children keep their shirts on. The children did not keep their shirts on. I'm not saying it makes it the children's fault. What I am saying is they used due care. They used the best possible care that someone could have used in that situation, and we can't hold them to this crazy high standard.
We only have about 30 seconds, so Jay, I want to give you the last.
Children need to be outside.
This daycare center normally keeps sunscreen for all the kids and provides it. They ran out and let these kids run around outside without shirts in South Texas, where the sunlight and heat is over 100 degrees in the summer. There is a duty of care there, and they knew or should have known there was a possibility these kids could have been burned.
All right,
if they know, there's some duty of care.
Emotional regardless of whether or not we're all involved, right? Thank you so much, Whitney Bone and Jay Apt. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.